Let me know once you see my screen.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we can.
I hope you can
See
see
your
my
screen.
screen now.
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. I'll just straight away go into the investment plan scenarios, and just to start us off, the investment plan is made of two components, which is the private investment, which is the contribution of the diaspora plus that of the entrepreneur, and the investment, the private investment, that is the contribution from diaspora plus that of entrepreneur, is invested first, and then the grant is released later upon verification of the investment. So as you design your investment plan, one thing we also look for, which is also not part of what I've highlighted, is a chronological order of investments. So ideally, let's say for example, you are doing a dairy or a poultry project. You can't buy the chicken now and build the structure in the grant. It needs to follow the correct sequence of things, because if you buy the chicken now, what happens with the housing, because the grant is paid later. Something else, we also don't allow you to do what we call partial payments. And a partial payment is, maybe you are buying a machine. You decide with the private investment you are going to pay a deposit, then with the grant finalized, and that is not allowed. And this is because we require you to have the item fully paid for verification before the grant is dispersed. So if you pay a deposit, definitely the supplier will not give you the item. And so when the coach comes to verify, then your project will not have passed the required criteria, and therefore your grant will not be accepted. Um, just briefly, just on what we look for when we are doing, we are reviewing projects. First, what we look for is the strategic allocation of funds, and within this, we look at the descriptions that you have put on the platform, the idea that you want to do, and then from this, we are able to see, are your investments strategic? Are they really enablers for assisting you to be able to spur your business? Something else we look for is efficient resource utilization. We also want to see entrepreneurs serving efficiency, and within efficiency, we look at quite a number of things. Is our next item necessary for this business at this time? Does it make sense? Probably. Let's say, for example, if I'm doing farming, does it make sense for me to pay 90% of the money into salaries? So we look at how efficient you are spending the money, which budget lines are you spending, how are these budget lines assisting your business, whatever you have quoted, are they the market rates for items? We have situations where sometimes we get a project where someone either underquotes the price of an item, and in many instances where people overquote. Maybe if an item goes for 30,000, probably they decide they are going to do a budget for 90,000 for that item. The other key thing we look at within efficient resource utilization, we look at what we call the filler budgets. This is where probably as a donor and the entrepreneur, you have set 1,250. They have also set the same amount plus the grant. You have allocated money to everything that the business needs, but there is money left. And so for you to take the 1,250, you decide to just fill in with just random things that are really not aligned to that business. So that is also something that we look at. So as a donor, you're able to support as many projects as possible, but maximum of three at a time. And for the entrepreneur, they are able to apply up to three times. And therefore, what we advise entrepreneurs is you'd rather start with a small amount, do what is necessary, implement it successfully, then apply for another round for higher amount. Lastly, what we look at is sustainability of the business. Are the investments that you are making your business sustainable? Can that business be able to run itself in 3 to 6 months after now without the support of WIDU based on the investments? And we'll be looking at scenarios and looking at sustainability shortly. So that is one key thing we look at because sometimes the investments plans are full of operational expenses, recurrent expenses, and consumables. And this means that is not sustainable because once that item is fully utilized in the business, you will need to go to the market tomorrow and buy another one. And once it's done, you go again and buy another one. Therefore, that is why we talk of strategic allocations of funds. I just decided to work with the most common businesses that we receive for the original WIDO. We also have quite established businesses within what we call the local calls, which are thematic calls that we do at different times of the year, which are a bit more advanced businesses that are already operational. So I want us to just look at the investment plans on the screen, and I have one. This is a salon type of business, and we have a good quality investment plan for that, and we also have a low quality investment plan. So this is an investment plan for someone who is starting out a salon business. And once you look at, I'll start with the low quality. You can clearly see they're buying more or less of consumables. They're buying hairs, creams, lotions, shampoos, and the other key items that this entrepreneur is investing in is rent and salaries, which are also recurrent expenses. Therefore, this is not a quality investment plan, and it will be sent back for correction. And when we are scoring projects, it might not get selected to be supported. And this is because when you look at this, these are consumables, and these are things that you will need tomorrow for the business, and therefore there is no strategic investment. When you look at this investment plan, it is the basic random things that business needs from day to day. When you look at the good investment plan, you can see they also have a bit of operational expenses, but they have also worked on strategic areas. You can see they have rent, so they have secured the structure. They have done a bit of cabinetry work and the workstations. They have bought mirrors. They have bought heaters, sinks. They have done manicure chairs. They have done licenses, pedicure stations. So when you look at this second investment plan, you can see the entrepreneur investing in what we call strategic allocations. And I mean strategic, these are things that are going to help the business to either grow or to be able to increase its production. So for this, you can clearly see is buying. For example, if he builds the cabinets today, he will not need to build those cabinets tomorrow. If he buys the manicure and these sink chairs and the mirrors and the kind of related things, these are not items he's going to need to buy tomorrow. These are items that can serve that entrepreneur for 1, 2, 3, 4 years, depending on how they maintain them. And when you go down, you can see now once they have bought everything, then they buy a bit of minimal products. If you look at the percentage of the investment to consumables, it is less than 20% of the investment is what they are buying. The requirements, you can see they are buying water heaters, sterilizers, shaving machines. So this entrepreneur is, you can see sustainability in the future. Even if they do not get external funding tomorrow, they already have the tools that they require for this business. If you look at the low quality one, what happens if they run short of money? How are they able, everything that they have on this investment plan, uh, it's consumable, it's something they will need tomorrow. And what we have realized with this type of businesses and grocery stores and kiosks, this business is going to work in the first 1 to 3 months because probably they have this funding. But what happens, the margins of these items are very small. So what happens, next month this entrepreneur will need to pay rent and to pay salaries and such. And so the income from that business is what is going to be used to pay rent and salaries. So as months progress, this business stock continues reducing. And ultimately, they'll get to a point where whatever they have in the shop cannot sustainably support their business. So that is case one. Let's look at
Can
case
I ask
two.
something, Eric? Could you go back to
Okay.
yeah? What if I have the salon has been running and I just need to add more products? Can that the low quality investment not really be considered, because I already have a salon that has been running for 1 year. I don't need to build cabinets. I don't need to do this.
Yeah, we could accept it based on a number of scenarios. And one thing, especially even if you already have a running a salon, something that really works for entrepreneurs is also diversification of of this kind of services that you are doing. Let's say, for example, if you are running maybe a salon, then you having some air products that well aligns with your business, but the other aspects of the business that you can be able to invest in. Yes, you are doing salon. Do I need to start probably doing nails? Do I need to start doing some other things? You can look at how can I make this to be able to stand out rather than you just buying shampoos and deodorants and lotions to stock up the shop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah. Let me just quickly comment on something out of experience. There are people who, you see, like when you check on the low quality investment plan, there are people who say, yes, I want just to buy this. Let me say, there's also had cases where people applied for the stocks, and then after a week, find they bought the things, or they bought, and then they sold everything, and then they're back to square one, especially for projects where the donor funded everything. So the entrepreneur thinks, once I get these things, I'll just sell them back, and I make that, I get my money back, and then I spend the way I want to spend the money. So I think that is now also the point people should take home. Think of, like, I want really to run this business beyond WIDU. Like, what can WIDU help me to make sure like my business is still running even after these 3 months, even after 6 months? Maybe get a new equipment where you can extend a new product, like start making nails, so you focus on just making nails, or you focus on a barber shop, or you just focus on a new product that you have not been having in the salon. Sorry, Eric, for interrupting.
Okay, it's okay. Thank you for that addition. Let's look at something on fashion and the clothing and shoe business. When you look at the low quality, you can see they are just buying stock, then they are doing some renovation works, and then they're also buying stock again. This also follows the same like the saloon business. There is no sustainability in this business, because what happens? You can wake up tomorrow and sell the entire stock. What happens the next day? And some of these businesses, when you buy these consumables or items you are going to resell, I believe you are aware, currently we are not accepting resell kind of models, especially the mitumba business, the buying of second-hand shoes for resale, that kind of business. Because we have also learned from experience, most of those that we have had within the project, most of them have closed within a year. If you go to the Metumba businesses that we supported in 2020, less than 10% of those businesses still exist, and this is because you buy the stock, you sell the stock, you don't keep discipline, you probably spend some of the money for something else, and then you decide to rebuy smaller stock. Then operational expenses come, you have to pay rent, you have to pay salaries, so your stock goes shrinking. You get to a point you are not able to sustain the business. You are not, what you have in stock and what you sell cannot pay rent and pay salaries, then you close the business. If you look at on the bit good quality, this has been lifted out of an investment plan for a person who does also fashion and uh, importation and sale of shoes. Um, this entrepreneur applied to do a website, an e-commerce platform for her business, and she also decided to buy a barcode reader and a barcode printer, because she's doing online business. She has a website, she has an app where people can be able to go and see her business, see the items there, and then order online, and then she can be able to sell those. Within this investment plan, it was quite large. It couldn't fit within my slide. They had things like point of sale systems to enable them to make sure their sales are automated. They had some marketing, so they were doing Instagram ads, they are doing Facebook ads to push their business. So you can see this is a person who has thought about the business, is building an online presence, is going to be able to sell to a person in Kenya, to a person in Ghana, to a person across anywhere in the world, and they're able to ship that product. They have also automated their business. You can be able to see how many sales are being made. Everything is barcoded, so they can be able also to track an order. This was ordered from X place, it's been shipped through X. So they have a clear overview of the business. So this is the type of um, thinking one needs to do when you are doing, let's say, for example, fashion business. How do I reach my customers? Um, and we also want, as you support your entrepreneurs and as entrepreneurs do business, we also want us to stop seeing business in the lenses of our villages and our counties, and see people building projects that can reach other counties, projects that can be able to supply within the entire country, and also some of them even to grow to be able to supply regionally and globally. So if you look at the fashion, you can clearly see two different stories. One is building strategic areas, is investing in a website. He has invested in marketing. He has invested in a system that enables them to track their sales, and they just did a small amount of a few of items that they require for their business. You can see this business is going to be sustainable for a long time. This website, e-commerce website they have built, probably will serve them for the next 5 to 10 years. The computers, the barcode printers, that machine is going to serve that business for 5 to 10 years. Whereas this other guy buying stock, this stock is going to be sold within a month or two, and we are back to square zero. So I don't know if Caro, you have a comment or question on
Make,
fashion, or I can
makes a lot
continue.
of sense. Yeah, this makes a lot of sense. Yeah. In fact, like when we had Frida last time, I've dropped the YouTube links in the chat. She said that when you go to the rural area in Kenya, even in many African countries, you find the same shops. The shopping centers have the same shop, and they're all selling finished products. So basically, you're selling the same things when you're selling groceries, the next shop, the same things. So that innovation has been lacking, and that is why they're like, we have to look beyond this. We have to look beyond this colonized mentality that we can only sell finished products and think beyond. And I think that is the message you were, Eric is driving home. Very simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's look at one also another very common type of business, the poultry farming. I'll start from my right. You can see we have what I've labeled as the low quality projects. And once you look at this, you can see the entrepreneur is just buying some chicks, some feeders, some vaccines, some salary. He wants to partition a chicken house, and then he wants to buy feeds. Some of the items they are buying or they are doing, it's okay, like the chicken house. But look at the percentage of the chicken house versus the other things that um, they need. And this is one also key issue we have had with chicken projects. Everybody just wants to buy chicks. Some of the entrepreneurs, they want to buy 500 chicks or so. If you go to the location, there are no structures to house 500 chicks. And poultry business is a very delicate business where you have to ensure the optimal um, the optimal solutions for that business. Ideally, those chicks, if it's temperature, the place is well, it's not cold. Um, so this one has not really thought about it. He just wants to buy chicken, buy feeds, buy vaccines, and that's it. Let's look at the good quality on my right. You can see sustainability is buying a water tank, is buying an incubator, is buying what we call a pallet machine. A pallet machine is used for making feeds. You can also see he's buying animal feed mixer, and then he has some salaries, and he's also buying uh, a chaff cutter, or yeah. So when you look at this business, this entrepreneur has addressed a number of their recurrent costs. In chicken business, in dairy business, uh, feeds is a very key component, and we have had businesses where entrepreneurs have lost all of their chicks, or you visit an entrepreneur, the cow is in a very bad situation. In some unfortunate incidences, the cows die because of starvation. So before you set up a chicken farm, you need to think about where am I getting the feeds, because that is the highest input to that business on a day-to-day business, on a day-to-day running of that chicken farm. So if you don't have that, then you are going to strain. And the feeds are not cheap, they are very expensive, and they will account for more than 50% of the production cost. You can also see the entrepreneurs bought an incubator, because this is a chicken business. You grow chicks, they grow, they start to lay eggs. At some point, you dispose and start again. So for him, he is well sorted. He has an incubator. So the next time he will want to hatch chicks, he will not go and buy the chicks. He will just go buy. Uh, he will go and buy the eggs and come and hatch them. We have also seen entrepreneurs with very innovative models where he says, I will buy the incubator. I can incubate my own eggs. Probably if like this one is doing 5,000 eggs. So maybe if his farm is only doing 500 chicks, 500 eggs at a moment, he can lease out then the remaining 4,500 to the neighbors and to the people around them, and they can be bringing their eggs, and he can hatch them for them at a fee. He can also decide, I'm going to be buying eggs and hatch these eggs and sell the chicks, maybe as 1 day old, as 1 week, or as 1 month chicks, depending on how they want. They have also bought machines that are going to help this entrepreneur to do the feeds. And with feeds, if you get the formulation right, and you have the machines, you can even produce feeds for your own use at the farm, and you can sell the surplus, and that becomes an extra source of revenue. So we also looking at this business, and when we look at this business, you can see he has invested in sustainable things. He has a source of water, so he will not struggle with water for the chicks. He has an incubator, so probably will not need to buy an incubator again or buy chicks again. Some other item that is mostly bought, some entrepreneurs are buying solar panels to power the incubators, to eat the chicken coop. So these are some of the things that you can really invest in, and the business becomes sustainable. These are things that serve the business in the long term, and they are able to allow the entrepreneur diversify, increase their production. Because if you have all this, then making feed might not be a problem to you. I don't know, Carol, might you have a comment,
A
a
comment,
question?
yeah, yes, I have many comments. Now, if in case people do not know what the investment is means, and the grant, the investment is now your joint investment, what you and your investor will be doing in this case. The initial investment and the grant is what you get from the WIDU. And checking on the low quality investment plan, you can actually see this person is buying the chicks before, and they want now WIDU to give them the money to partition the house. So it doesn't make sense. Yeah, prepare the house before you even get the chicks, because where will you take this chicken? Where will they take these chicks? And thank you. That is a very nice idea, the way you're comparing the two, because at least people now can see the sustainability aspect that is needed by WIDU. And this is a very nice overview comparing the two, so that at least people can go back to the drawing board. Thanks. You have more
Okay.
examples, or you give me a
I
signal once
think
you're done?
I only have one more. I didn't have another project to
Fantastic.
compare
That's
with
okay.
this
Yeah.
one. This is a car garage. It's not a very popular model, but it really has a bit of what we are talking about. So you can, if you look at this business, you can see the entrepreneur investing comprehensively across the business. They are buying, they are hiring the space, they are building a structure, they are buying a drilling machine. You can see they are buying a spray painting machine, they are buying a diagnosis machine, a welding machine. So this follows the same examples as what we have seen in before. This person is investing in what the business can use for years to come, not just what he needs tomorrow. Some entrepreneurs decide, I want to do a garage, and then the only thing that person buys is only the spare parts. If you go to that garage, it does not meet the human accident requirements. They don't have a first aid kit. They don't have the tools for lifting and lowering of cars. So you need to, as you do the investment plan, ensure that it is very comprehensive, that it meets all sides of the business. Yeah, I think those examples will serve the purpose. We have many more on the platform, and from time to time, we'll also be sharing these so that you can also see how other entrepreneurs are doing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Eric. Maybe, do you have an IT project? Maybe you can look for one and show us like a good IT project, how an investment plan should look like. As we wait, people, I think now people can ask for questions. Will you manage to get one now, or should we give you
Just
more
a
time?
moment, I check
Okay, you can
the
check. In
ones
the
that we
meantime,
have.
people can be asking questions, because I think that's also quite innovative, even to see what can we do with the technology, or anything that is revolving around technology. That would also be interesting to show if you get one. Please still help me with the poll. Let me see if everyone has taken part. We have 2 more people who have not taken part in the poll. That 3 people, that would really be good if you can take part of the poll, because we also need to submit some statistics. That's why we do these simple polls. They're also helping us to know, like, even what to prepare during the next session. So please help us with the poll as we wait for Eric to get a good investment plan. And as you prepare your questions. So, any questions so far? And we wait for Eric to get a good sample. I hope the session was quite clear. Let me actually stop the live stream.
Very
at least we can
clear,
really,
yes.
Yeah, you can actually see beyond the buying the stock for the shop. Stop live stream. Thank you so much, Eric. Before I stop the live stream, that was really insightful. Let me stop sharing, and then once you have it, we can always distribute